This is NTV.
The 15th day of March 2023, and we're glad you're watching us. This is the live coverage of the opening day of the SMEs Conference and Expo 2023, which is happening here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. And we are glad that you could join us, both those of us who are here physically and those who are joining us across the country and the world as well, because we are live on NTV, both on the television as well as online. My name is Dan Mwangi. I shall be taking you through today's event, through today's engagements. And the theme for this year's edition of the Conference and Expo is accelerating the MSMEs growth through adoption of technology and innovation. And to this effect, we shall be having not only speeches, but also panel discussions and submissions, and testimonials of different SMEs of what the situation is for them, so that we can have a proper pulse check of what is happening and what needs to be done and how we can improve ourselves, that we will live here not just having heard things, but also having experienced change and having take-home pointers of what we can have. So I'd like to invite you all to engage with us as well online. Our hashtag is Powering SMEs. Powering SMEs is the hashtag that we're using online, so you can follow the conversation. And for the benefit of those who may be watching us, at the KICC, we have different booths and stands that have been set up by different organizations which are in the MSME space, be it small companies themselves, as well as others who provide various services, diverse services for that are relevant to the businesses. So you can come, make your way here. It's a 3-day event beginning today, the 15th of March, going all the way to the 17th. That is today, Wednesday, through to Friday, and we shall be having this, and you can have an opportunity to engage with the different service providers, the different organizations that have got their products and services for you to enjoy and to connect with and make business. So without much further ado, I would like to invite, for the benefit of having an overview of the situation of SMEs, I would like to call to the stage, to the podium, the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Patrick Nyangweso. Sorry, the stairs on the other side. And as he makes his way there, just to let you know that the Chamber and the National Media Group have been partnering in this for the last 3 years. This is the 4th edition, so this is yet another year of partnering in giving an opportunity for SMEs to have their matters addressed. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to recognize the dignitaries who are here, beginning with our chief guest, Mr. Richard Ngatia, the Chamber President, the CEO of National Media Group, who has been our partner for the last of several years, Mr. Stephen Gitagama, Richard Muteti, the CEO of Federation of the Jokali Association, Mr. Vinay Kumar, that is the manager in charge of Baroda Bank, who is also our partner, all the panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and other players of SMEs across the country. Good morning once again. As you have been told, I would only do climate setting to understand on the landscape of SMEs as regard to the theme. So, Chief Guest, allow me just to play that simple role. As you are aware, this is the 4th edition. We have walked along the journey with the National Media Group as KNCCI. And last year, at such time of the year, we were able to really organize more than 150 exhibitors and more than 15,000 players. Even during COVID, I would tell you, it attracted a lot of participation. The first edition, I want to thank our chief guests who mobilized more than 6 government ministers. And we had set the pace. Why we had to really do this? Because we recognize the specific role that SMEs play in these industries. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, in the 2023, technology has become a very key component in the strategic development of both the SMEs and larger corporations. And that is why we chose to have the theme, how do we accelerate the SMEs growth through adoption of technology and innovation. Now, for the SMEs to compete and, in the digital economic space, we think as the private sectors that if we work together with the government, ministries and different agencies and other players, the SMEs must adopt the following. One is to digitize their retail pay system, because this one would really lower the cost of business operations, and we are asking all the SMEs to adopt the same. The second one, we are talking of digitization and financial inclusion, which is very key. Today, chief guest, as we gather here, I know there are several financial players who are in the room, and also other financial service providers. The issue of financial inclusion has really been a gap to our MSMEs across the country, and digitization has become an easier platform to support financial inclusion and female financial empowerment. Obstacles that has been experienced in the SME space as regard to financial access, such as physical distance, minimum balance requirements, little to no access to credit, low income flows, has really been circumvented. And today, we are going to celebrate the digital space that has been adopted by the SMEs in the country. Another thing which I would want to encourage you to focus on is how do we support SMEs to digitalize to sustainable business models. Different products have really been rolled out on digital platform, and you have seen the Jumia, M-Copper, several of them are really coming up with different models. How do we really join hands collectively as private sector players, as government agencies, to support SMEs, to recognize the role that ICT and innovation plays towards their expansion? Ladies and gentlemen, the private sector and the government must therefore work together by doing the following. One, we want to encourage both entities to support creating a fundamental shift in the structure of economics for the SMEs. This would really come along with models on how to modernize SME space, especially in the area of to focus on growth trajectory and also transformed economic structure. This is very, very key. If you see the countries that have really grown, they have not really ignored ICT adoption as enabler to fast track their business. Second thing is we need to work together as all stakeholders to transform the roles of producer and consumers, the employers and the self-employed. What do I mean by this? In the digital age, technology has really altered and changed the traditional labor the way it looks like. You are all aware that during COVID, economies didn't close out, but most people opted to work from home, including the micro enterprises. This demonstrated an opportunity for all our Kenyan SMEs to really recognize technology as the better option. And therefore, both entities must work to spearhead this. Another thing, we need to rethink on how to adopt the public provision and institutional relationship. Both horizontal and vertical relationship is very key. I know government would come up with several policies, but chief guest, the private sector must also be given space so that SMEs have a role to play on when it comes to setting up or formulating policies that will really facilitate the SMEs growth in this country. We are also calling upon all key stakeholders to make technology as the enabler. Let's mainstream technology in all our operations, from the production level, within all the value chains, up to the time when now it reaches at the point of the dispatch to several consumers. This would be very key because the use of online systems, like the filing of tax, for instance, has really improved businesses across the globe. Just to mention a few, Cote d'Ivoire has really grown because of this. Kenya, Mauritius, and Togo. Nigeria is part of the countries that have adopted the same. I know government has really launched the e-commerce strategy, national strategy, and it is the high time we took a bold step as private sectors to support the initiative and roll out this to what they call mashinani. Another area which I feel we need to really touch base as key stakeholders is to support on infrastructural development. If you walk, Chief Guest, if you walk across the country today, Safaricom, who is also a key service provider in this space, has really provided services to enable even micro enterprises from subnational level. This is something which I think needs to be scaled up, and it needs a joint effort to, with all stakeholders. In conclusion, Chief Guest, I want to say the shared benefits of supporting SMEs are very numerous. Government and private sectors can benefit from the boosted economies and job creation. Private sectors, businesses attract a large and lucrative consumer base, and SMEs are able to access the resources they need to succeed. Lastly, key to this collaboration, however, will be involving all SMEs very much in the innovation and policy making process. This is very key. From the sub-county, national assemblies, county assemblies, issues of legislation, adoption of technology needs to be a priority. And when we do this, we'll continue to ensure that their needs are meaningfully heard and met. Thank you so much, SMEs. Thank you so much, distinguished guests. I look forward for a robust discussion, for an undivided attention and unconditional support to our SMEs to grow so that they would really reap the benefit that comes with the Kenya being the hub of the economic hub within the East and Central Africa. Thank you so much. I beg to end my speech there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bwana Nyangweso, for that. And next on stage we'll be having Ms. Doreen Mbaya, who is the founder of Karembu Limited, to come and give us a speech. Let's appreciate until she gets to stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, all. Oops, lost my pen here. Good morning, the CEO, KNCCI. Good morning, CEO NMG. MD Bank of Baroda. All protocols observed, I'm so privileged and excited to be up here to really share our story as Karembu Limited. We're a young startup. We've not been in business for 100 years like Bank of Baroda. We launched during COVID, which many of us as SMEs, we took a risk because you saw how the environment in terms of the economic climate was. But we said, if we don't do it now, then when will we do it? So my names are Doreen Mbaya, as you've been told. I'm in the business of problem skincare. And I have two major passions. One is women, the other is media. And I would encourage all of you to ignore some tweets that say media is more of a problem, because I really believe media solves a lot more problems than it creates. So I started my journey not in 2020, but in 2011 as a research journey. And having come from a background of fast-moving consumer goods, after college, I worked as a young girl selling products in some of these shops that you pass in town. And that helped me supplement my school fees. And I learned two things. I learned, number one, all these products that come in from outside with very cryptic instructions, women don't understand them. They don't read them, but they don't understand them. The second thing that I learned is that, today is still a problem, although it is changing, that as a country, sometimes we trust ourselves less than we trust outsiders. And that is something that at Karembu Limited, I'm working very, very hard to change. So having learned these two things, as I said, we spent quite a bit on our research journey because I realized in order for products to be effective and to work as an SME, we cannot take shortcuts. We spent this time working with professionals who are charged with doing services for various men, women who go to treatment clubs or spas or whatever. And we put out our product with these guys because we wanted to know how it would be received, how it would react. Because one of the claims that I saw was a good possibility for us to have was to use our locally available materials. What makes Karembo unique is that I source my main ingredients from farmers. One of our best-selling products is this. This is a coffee scrub. And we literally have gone to farms to source the coffee, see how it's ground, see how it's processed, see how it's roasted. Then we include it in our processing. And what gave us this idea to begin with is that I said two things. How come everybody who comes to Kenya enjoys the food? They're like, oh, you guys, your vegetables, your fruits, this is so excellent. But what happens? We take a lot of that raw material and we ship it out. And sometimes we buy it back for 3 times the price. So are we doing ourselves a favor? Not really. The second thing I discovered that was really good for skin was brown sugar, raw brown sugar that comes from the Western Belt. So we included that in our formulations as well. And the third thing was coconut oil from the coast. And I'm glad at least the members who do come from the coastal area know how much value addition has gone into the coconut value chain. So those are the 3 major agro value chains that Karembo has risen from. And we have discovered that these products actually outperform any other products coming from any other region because, interestingly, the soils in Kenya are so unique and they give different characteristics to the kind of agro-processed outputs that we have. So you can imagine when you take that, you add good science to it, because on my team, one of the things that I said I will always do is I will respect science and we will pay scientists to give us the best solutions. So we invested in that also. So I work with a really good biochemist who came up with a way to stabilize the product. Because I knew as an SME, the other challenge we have is consistency of quality. And usually that's what rocks the boat for a lot of our retail partners. They're like, hey, you give me something good on Monday, by Friday it's not the same thing. So how are we going to overcome that? By making sure that we have a stabilized formula. The other thing that we did as an SME is we decided that we're going to do intellectual property registration. We're going to trademark our products because we're taking this seriously. And that worked really well. And I can tell you the folks at Kipi, excellent job. And the other thing that we did is we excluded irritants, we excluded parabens, we excluded dyes, and we excluded any synthetic addition. Why? Because we knew there's a market that is growingly irritated from all the use of chemicals, products that come in because of one reason or another, they're not properly checked and they end up on our shelves. So we said we want to position, not facing just inward, but also outward. So the way that we did our labeling, we wanted to make sure that we are starting to comply with EU standards in terms of we're able to ship this product out comfortably when we get there. We're not there yet. We are still hoping with the help of KNCCI that we'll get there. The other thing, and this made a huge difference, it wasn't easy. We bootstrapped ourselves. Bootstrap meaning the current model that we have as an SME, we have a startup manufacturing model. We manufacture out of Eldoret, which is Iten Road. And many ask me, why Eldoret? Why did you leave Machakos or Nairobi to go all the way to Eldoret? Because we looked around. And some of the challenges you'd find, okay, this producer, as a manufacturing partner, doesn't use clean water, doesn't use RO water. Okay, we didn't want a product that doesn't use clean water. Okay, look at the cost of labor, look at the cost of electricity around that area. So after a long hunt of almost around 1 to 2 years, we finally stumbled upon a very good manufacturing partner based out of Eldoret. The costs were reasonable and consistent. And the beauty is, there's a KEBS office in Eldoret, although I'll talk about that on the other side. I'm still with a good story here. So we bootstrapped, meaning as an SME, we did not have to build a warehouse, put money down, buying machinery and equipment, which of course goes into your capex, and which means you start off from a place of a negative, because you're already carrying so many overheads on you. Yeah, and I'd encourage anyone who's thinking about starting up in manufacturing or production, to look for partners, because these people are there. And they have what is called idle capacity in a factory. Because if the factory is busy from Monday to Thursday, then Friday to Sunday, what is it doing? Yeah, and the person who runs the factory, owns the factory, is still paying overheads. So let us find ways of outsourcing this to other SMEs who are not necessarily in competition with you, and bringing them in and enabling them to access the market faster. So we decided we were going to invest mainly in our routes to market and our product quality. So when I stand before you here, we still have so much work to do. There's so much possibility for us to grow. Number one is our footprint. Our retail market penetration has, of course, been a big challenge. But it goes back to the first thing I mentioned, which is we tend to have a bias on our own products. So you go to some of these retail giants, tell me, yes, I'm here, I have a very exciting Kenyan product, made in Kenya, so you guys support Kenya. They're like, yeah, but we have these guys. Which guys? Those two guys at the bottom of the shelf. And you look at the rest of the stuff is from Saudi Arabia, Dubai. I think we know who I'm talking about. You're like, okay, just because my product is appealing to a middle market doesn't mean you should lock me out. So I think at the policy and at the bill level, we need to put in a local content requirement for some of our retail giants, because they're locking us SMEs out of the shelf. Yeah, and of course they'll ask, do you have big bucks like so-and-so, do you have big bucks to do this? No, I'm a 2-year-old SME, so I'm lucky Nation Media can give me a discount or two and I can come in here, but it's not easy for many people to get access into the retail space. The other thing I will talk about is the structures that we have, because a lot of women would come to me and say, okay, but now how do I start? Do I go to QD first? And QD is fantastic at food. They're fantastic at developing food products or value addition in the food category. But when it comes to other categories, we are a bit weak. And ask me why. I spent a lot of time trying to extract essential oils at QD, but the equipment that was there was from 1952, and I don't think they've bought another one since then. So there's need for serious investment by our infrastructure partners in equipment that works. Again, beeswax. Lenana Beekeeping Institute, which is where we sourced our beeswax from. You take it through quality processes, it's not consistent. Why? They need a double pan, a double boiling system to be able to purify it. Have they ever invested in one? No. So you find, okay, you're being told now the India beeswax, that one will come very clean, so that's what you need to buy. But no, for me, one of my mission is to support our farmers and beekeepers. So what is missing there? Just investment in processing. Yeah, so these are the lessons. Another thing, because one of our aims, and I'll talk about this at the end, one of our aims is, of course, to grow and get into the export market, which means after our bootstrapping model is done at Eldoret, the next 3 to 5 years will be own establishment. Now, 3 to 5 years means, okay, you look for KIE. So, Machakos, I looked at KIE. When I went to KIE, I found guys who've been in business for 20 years. They're the ones occupying those spaces. So it means guys who have done business want to keep their costs low. They don't move out of KIE to make spaces for guys like me. So again, there's room, there's work there to be done. Yeah. So, and as a business, I think the possibility for us guys who are more agile and even more willing to take the risks, there's a whole new sector around sun care that we really want to start speaking to, because we know, we've been told by advocates of climate change that it's only going to get hotter. So what does that mean? We have a whole community who have a condition called albinism. And right now in Kenya, the supplier of sun care to albinism, the albinism community, is a German manufacturer. Why? What is it that the German manufacturer has that I don't have? So guess what? That is what I'm working on now. How to make our own Kenyan sun care so that we can take care of these guys. Yeah. So with those few remarks, I believe, Dan, we can move next, and I'm available for any questions or consultations, any criticism. I'm happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doreen. And Doreen was our colleague at the Nation Media Group a number of years ago. So you could see when she talks about media, she's walked the talk and challenged us to be risk takers generally, especially as entrepreneurs. Next, I'm going to call on stage, Mr. Vinay Kumar Rathi. He's the Managing Director of Bank of Baroda.
Thank you, Dan. At the outset, I would like to apologize. I'm not Vinay Kumar Rathi. I am Abhishek Banerjee. I am Head of Marketing. Mr. Rathi was here till 9:30 in the morning, but he had some other engagements which we could not, he had to attend that. So he had to leave. So I'm just filling in on his behalf. I represent Bank of Baroda. So I don't know how many of you in this conference are aware of Bank of Baroda. Can I see any raise of hands? Oh, quite many. Okay. So just to reiterate again, Bank of Baroda has been in Kenya for the last 70 years. This is our 70th year in Kenya. And we are a 115-year-old bank, India. Our global presence, we are a global MNC originating from India. We are across 19 countries. We have over 100 branches. And in India, we are the third largest bank in India. And like our global market capitalization is around 30 trillion, which we can say is 30 trillion in terms of shillings, which is like 5 times or 6 times the size of the banking industry of Kenya. So that is Bank of Baroda. We have been here since 1970. We are present in all the major counties. We have 14 branches, 6 branches in Kenya, in Nairobi, 1 in Thika, and other in Mombasa, Nakuru, Meru, Kakamega, and a few more counties, Eldoret and others. So regarding the products that we have been working very closely with KNCCI, and we have been working very closely with Nation Media Group for platforms like this. We have been participating across various conferences and expos and things that you guys are organizing. And a big congratulations to the Nation Media Group to organize such a nice event. This is the 4th event. We have been participating. First year we were here. Last 2 years we did not, but this year we are back again participating with you. And a big congratulations to KNCCI also for all your efforts that you have been taking in promoting the SMEs and in Kenya for, you are the main platform providing, department, as I can say. Regarding Bank of Baroda, we have all our products that we have to support the SMEs. We have recently we are launching a very unique product that is a current account wherein you will be earning interest. So I think it's the first time a bank is coming up with such kind of product in the industry, where like current account usually there's a zero interest in it, but we are giving something back to the to the businesses also. We have been known for a bank which is very transparent. We do not charge any processing fees or any hidden charges. We only charge the interest rate to our customers. Our interest rates are one of the lowest in the industry, and there are no other hidden charges apart from it. So we can say that we are the lowest charging bank or one of the lowest charging bank in Kenyan industry. Yes, we are here for 70 years. We have expanded till 14 branches. We have plans of further expansion, but it's a gradual thing. Like we are there to support SMEs in like all the way that is possible. From the SMEs, when we see this nice expo outside, we listen to the various success stories, like a small SME that has started from a small shop and then it's now growing up into building a like you say, looking into exporting their products, manufacturing their products in Kenya, and now they're exporting their products across. So it's an inspirational story. We have been part of such stories across many of our customers who are banking with us, and we'd like to definitely engage with many of you. We have our stall over here, and we'll try to support and try to look into giving advices and how we can help you out with your business over here. We'd like to be part of the success stories and your growth stories. We would like to be part of that as well. From the SMEs, one thing, the topic of this, the theme of this conference is to adaptation, acceleration of SME growth through adaptation of technology and innovation. So technology and innovation, these are two major things that I think all the SMEs should look into, because you should look into scaling up by using technology and use of your data that you are generating through your business. Many of us are not aware how to make best use of it. Maybe there are many organizations over here who support you in creating that particular platform for you. Make use of them and try for accelerating your business and scaling up your business so that you can rise. The sky is the limit, we can say. So with this, I would like to again apologize that my MD has not been able to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And from Bank of Baroda, we congratulate everybody for this nice platform and nice conference.
Thank you very much. Some great insights from the Bank of Baroda. And next on stage is a gentleman who's not new to either the SME space or to the SME Conference and Expo. You will hear him. He's quite interesting to listen to. His name is Richard Muteti. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya National Federation of Juakali Associations. Bwana Muteti, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. My name is Richard Muteti. As you have heard, I'm the Chief Executive of the Kenya National Federation of Juakali Associations and the head of the East Africa Community Regional Secretariat of the Micro and Small Enterprises Confederation and the chair of the COMESA Business Council SME Work Group. I want to take this opportunity to thank the national media so much for having seen it fit to bring this conversation. Actually, they started up SMEs at the bottom up. And the national media, because of your convening power, you're bringing this conversation to not only to the country, but to the world. We really thank you so much for that. And I'm getting a lot of queries from my sectors around the country because you are able to bring this out. You have the infrastructure. Now, I wish to recognize the presence of the president of the chamber, who is a friend of the sector and actually a patron of the sector. Since we are talking about SMEs or MSMEs, I think it will be an honor for me to mention that I operate from the bottom-up space of the SMEs. The SMEs has a value chain that has, like the colleague who just spoke here, to the one who is a micro down there at the informal space, beating the Karais in Kikomba. And checking my latest statistics, I realized that in terms of jobs creation in this country, the public sector, I think it has just currently reached 923,200 creation of employment. That's the public sector. The private sector, the people with payslips and they pay the income tax and they don't know what go to or things like that. There are 1.9 million in this country, just shy 2 million. The informal economic sector that form the bulk of the employees in this country, majority of whom are MSMEs, form, in my latest check, 15,476,800,000. So this is 15 million outside agro. When you add agro, and this is our fisher folks, this is our pastoralists, and these are crop farmers who constitute around 4.5, the total pushes up to 20 million. So today we are talking about a group of 20 million, almost half of the population of this country that you are talking about today in this country and in the continent. And we are very excited to be part of this conversation. Back to the relevance, and you'll excuse me, it wasn't a presentation, they're just remarks. According to the program, is remarks. Talking about technology and innovation to accelerate the MSMEs growth in this country, I need to point out a few things. When we talk about technology and innovation, we need to be very deliberate in supporting our SMEs. Because lack of technologies and lack of innovation has led to a lot of complaints from you people, from most of our services and from most of our products. For example, if we lack innovation and technologies, we lack standards, meaning our products will not have good standards, meaning they will not be competitive, meaning that it will get frustrated because we can't sell. If we talk of a lack of innovation and technologies, we'll be talking about poor production methods, because without innovation, you can't produce well. We'll be talking about poor finish due to lack of finishing tools. If you look at the table from Singapore, China, so the finish is so nice until you have a wow factor. But if you put a stone on top of it, or if you sit on that table, you'll collapse with it. Meaning that if you buy that table from Singapore, it will last you 1 week. If you buy a table from my member in Ngong Road, though it doesn't look very, but these days we are there. We are seeing ministers doing shopping there. So it means our innovation is not very bad. Our table will outlast you. It will even outlive your grandchildren. Lack of innovation and technologies also brings a reduced lifespan to our products. So lack of innovation also introduces an angle of poor workmanship to our, and substandard production to our products. And I'm bringing up this so that when you talk about innovation and technology, we have to be so deliberate in addressing it from the bottom of the pyramid on how we do our things to the top of the pyramid on how things are done when you export things. And I'm saying this because the Juakali sector is powering your house. Everybody here has interacted with an informal sector product or service in the morning. If not you, your relative. Either you're wearing a shoe from my sector, or your clothes from my sector, or somewhere in your village, your person has been carried by a boda boda, or the service that you're getting is from my sector. We operate in 18 subsectors. So we build your houses without having gone to school. In the rural areas, the fundis that build your parents' houses, you don't ask them for certificates. You just ask them, show me which house you have built. He says, that church I'm the one who built. You say, build like that one for my mother. We are building your houses, we are furnishing your houses, we are doing a lot of things. So we ought to need this kind of a conversation. We are hoping that as we end this conversation, we'll be able to be exposed to new ways of doing things. Now, I thought that the ministers will be here, especially for industrialization and MSE and so on, because without an institutionalized approach, framework of collaboration, we'll always operate on silos. We have institutions like KAE, and I want to thank them so much, they have worked with us. We have institutions like KIRDI that are responsible for research and development, and they are government-owned, run by taxpayers' money, that are supposed to introduce research and development. Look at the way our wheelbarrows are being done at Kamukunji. And the school boxes. The school boxes in Kamukunji, they have not changed their design. Since I went with it, stud one myself, I found my father putting his clothes in a Kamukunji box. You know the boxes? Who has seen boxes from Kamukunji? Oh my God, our products are popular. That box, we should ask ourselves, when we talk about innovation and technology, why haven't we assisted our people to innovate, to bring new technologies, to make that box to have wheels, to make that box current? And I wanted to say that because of lack of information and research, some of our foreigners have come and realized that the Kamukunji box is so popular. So they have gone home, produced a better one, put a smaller price on it, and now they are being sold in our supermarkets. So very soon, the complaints I'm getting is that our boxes across the country are not going. We need a deliberate homegrown solution on innovation and technology so that our people in Kamukunji can be able to power our schools with boxes. And that's just one point. And as we speak, lack of innovation, again, it has led to a serious stagnation of access of our products to our people. Access to affordable and quality raw materials, again, is something that we should be looking at. And I was expecting to see the MD of KNTC, Kenya National Trading Corporation. We wanted to say, as you buy those subsidized things you are buying, we also need a lot of bulk quality raw materials that are affordable to our SMEs so that their products again can be competitive in their prices. They cannot afford to buy these raw materials. That's why they get third class raw materials, but they pen them properly to look like first class. And then you start complaining about our issues. If we need to innovate and introduce technology, we need access to finance, but not just access to finance. And I'm happy the Baroda representative was here. The SME sector requires patience capital. Patience means you don't give me money today and the next week you're knocking my door. Give me some time. Let me organize myself. Let me grow slowly. Let's talk again next year after 1 year when we're interacting. So we're talking about patience capital. We in this country, when we talk about SMEs, we need to introduce the graduation policy. There is no graduation policy. I'm happy that we have a startup policy going on. We are part of that conversation. But a graduation policy, at what point does the lady who was here, she has explained where she's coming from. She has explained where she is. At what point do we push her to the next level? That she's talking about branches in Ghana, branches in Tanzania, branches. You're clapping. That's a serious issue. In this country, we don't have a graduation policy. When we talk about SME growth and support, we need to remove the vizungu mingi and look at the reality on what is happening on the ground. And we come up with actionable points on how we need to intervene and to introduce innovation and technology to our people there. You'll be shocked that the way our people smelt metal in our clusters is the way they used to smelt during the Jesus era. They put their legs in buckets with hot water, with cold water, to calm their selves so that they don't get shocked as they're smelting. What technology is that? And I would, because this is a bottom-up era, I would like to host the ministers who are supposed to come here at Kamukunji so that we start that conversation there. We start conversation in Kamukunji, going to industrial area, going to now the top of the pyramid, so that we wake up to the reality of how our people are doing our things. Sorry, I'm just about to finish. If we want to spur innovation and technology to the SMEs, we need to spur competition, but we also need to buy from them. The government is the biggest purchaser in the world all over. Just give the SME sector 30% of your procurement budget. 30%. Hata kama vitu zao ziko na shape mbaya. Nunua. We'll correct them as we move on. Ama namna gani? Si kusikia hiyo. Ama namna gani? The government needs to buy from the SME sector deliberately. These people, and pay on time. Pay on time. And again, if you buy from us and you don't pay on time, you are killing us. So buy from us. Number 2, the private sector. Wacha kuimport hata vitu unaweza nunua Kamukunji bwana. In your offices, also buy from us. Let us be real. Let us be patriotic. Let us love our country here. So that is 30%. I want to finish this conversation by saying that we have been talking about China Center. Yes, we have no problem with China Center. We have Kenya centers all over. We want to open up Kenya Day centers. If you come to Kamukunji on Saturday, if you come to Masai Market on Saturday and Sunday, that is just here, that attracts a lot of foreigners here in Masai Market. And I invite you to Masai Market. You will see that we are now introducing innovations and technology in how we are doing our things. But the relationship between us, Nation Media that is exposing us, and the tech firms here, come and assist us in how to market our products internationally. Let us mix our, you have the skills, but you don't have a product. We have the products, but you don't have the skills. Let us also introduce the RPL policy in this country so that our people can be satisfied for what they know and they become competitive. Kwa hayo machache, I want again to say that Nation Media, march on this journey. People have been talking about SMEs, MSMEs, and so on in small pockets. Let this be the forum per year of bringing the issues that affect and that should develop and promote SMEs. Let this be the forum so that we all congregate in one national forum that is the nation-led SME conference and exhibitions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bwana CEO. And like I told you, he's a man you want to listen to quite a bit, and I like his boldness. Thank you very much, Bwana Muteti. He has said, buy from them and pay on time. And I could see so many people saying, yes, yes. You know, you look like a preacher. The gospel of Juakali is spreading well in this church of ours. At this point, I'd like to invite the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nation Media Group, Bwana Stephen Gitagama, to come and make his remarks, then invite our chief guest to make his.
Thank you very much, Bwana Dan. And speaking after Richard, it's really an uphill task. Now, Mr. Richard Ngatia, the president of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Bwana Nyangweso, Bwana Richard Muteti, and the representative from Bank of Baroda, where we've been told that the bank will give us interest on current account. When I was in school, I was told current accounts do not earn interest. So these guys have really turned around the banking sector. Now, I think as Nation Media Group, we are very proud and committed to be associated with the SME sector in this country, owing to the importance of the sector and the undisputed position the sector holds in the development of our country. Now, we've seen significant progress from the first time we launched the conference in 2020. In 2020, we had 90 exhibitors. Last year, we had 150. In 2020, we had 6,000 participants who attended the conference and the exhibitions. And last year, this number moved to 15,000. That tells you the importance and the significance of this conference to the SME sector and to the country. Now, the theme of this conference today and the next 3 days is about accelerating growth by adoption of technology and innovation. You all know the impact of technology over the years. I remember when I was a young boy, would make a commitment, would make a plan. You'll have to do a business plan on how you are going to the market. You know, you'll plan maybe each month you'll go to the market 2-3 times because the markets were very far. Then over the years, the shops came closer to our home. And as we speak now, from your sitting room, because of technology and innovation, you can order whatever you need and you'll get it delivered wherever you are, anytime, at any place, and in a competitive cost. At Nation Media Group, technology has also evolved over the years. I remember watching television, you had to look for a TV. You know, you had to rush to the nearest pub. You had to rush to the nearest home to watch news. Today, you don't have to. You can watch news even when you are sitting there. You can follow television when you are sitting there, even from your wristwatch and whatever. Reading newspapers, again, you needed to walk to the nearest vendor. But that has changed. We have e-paper, we have our online platforms, and all that is what is the theme of this 3 days conference. Now, last year, at Nation Media Group, we also do something we call Top 100 SMEs. So this is an annual event that we, using various criteria, come up with the top 100 SMEs. And there's some interesting findings which I'll share with you. And these findings relate to the theme that we have today. Now, the findings found out that 50% of the medium-sized companies are located between 11 and 50% of their revenue on digital transformation. And another 7% allocated 50% of their revenues to digital transformation. That tells you digital transformation is the key investment area. It's the area where most of our organizations are putting in their effort. The report further indicated that 57% of the companies found that their growth, that 25% of their growth was due to innovation. So innovation is very important because it contributes about 25% of the sales growth. Now, that emphasizes why this theme that we have today is critical. Now, SMEs accounting for, I think some have said that, Mr. Muteti has said that, 98% of all businesses in Kenya, and enjoying over 15 million, employing over 15 million people. Some has told us, not some, but Mr. Richard has told us it is not 15 million, it's 20 million, that half of the population is employed by the SME sector and contributing 40% of the country's GDP. That is central to the survival of this country. And the growth of these sectors has a direct impact on the productivity of our country and to the lives of millions and millions of Kenyans. That's why NMG is committed to ensuring that there is growth and development in this industry. Over the past 3 years, we have propelled this commitment. Now, when we launched the first SME in 2020, we also launched a pull-out in the Daily Nation, which is a weekly pull-out that is published on Tuesdays. The name of this pull-out is Powering SMEs. This pull-out has had immense impact and feedback in the 4 years that the publication has run, with stories from various entrepreneurs and various investors who have been able to scale their sectors. We have seen significant content on various research findings and insights and trends in the sector and specifically in the digital era. Now, this year, we have introduced new features at the conference, and some of the features include what we are calling Kenya MSME Square, that will create visibility for businesses and open them up to new markets. In addition, we have what we have called the county pavilions. These county pavilions will give business opportunities to interact with their respective government to resolve any issues, make inquiries, and build relationship with relevant stakeholders from the county. Now, introduction of the county pavilions are timely given the establishment of the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development, which aims to promote capacity building and create appropriate policies and legal foundations for the institutions to drive the sustainability of the industry. We are proud of this ministry, and I would like to commend government for creating this ministry to really something we have pushed over the 3-year period, and tomorrow we'll have representation from the ministry at the highest level, and I'm sure all of you will have an opportunity to interact with the key representatives from this ministry. Now, I'm looking forward to fruitful deliberations, fruitful engagement. The various exhibitors who are out here will show us their technology, the new things they have come up with, and I'm sure you'll, at the end of the 3 days conference, you will actually not regret attending or maybe participating in this expo. I'm particularly keen on the panel discussion that will be there today at the end of this session on modernization. And I'm sure technology will be a key feature in this discussion. So I welcome you, and I would like to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Richard Ngatia, the president of the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry, to make his opening remarks and officially open this expo. So let us clap for Mr. Richard Ngatia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The CEO, Nation Media Group, Mr. Stephen Kitagama, Mr. Richard Muteti, CEO of the Juakali sector, the CEO, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Patrick Nyangweso, Mr. Videy Rathi, MD, Bank of Baroda, represented here as well, Mrs. Doreen Bayer. Thank you very much. Captains of industries, and as well as the moderator, thank you very much. And I want to specifically thank the Nation Media Group for continuously supporting SMEs and being so committed. I remember during COVID, we had the expo right here, and you remember the restrictions that came with the pandemic. We successfully were able to hold the expo and support the micro as well as SMEs. And I'm sure that this shall be able to continue in partnership with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I want to also recognize the fact that after various interactions and conversations with the CEO, Nation Media Group, I know they have committed to support SMEs and the micro, to support businesses in this country by holding this kind of expos, not only here in Nairobi, but across the country in various counties. But most importantly, to support the Hustler government in making sure that they disseminate accurate information, and also information, positive information, particularly where the government is putting efforts with innovation like the Hustler Fund. We need to see that information get out to the other members of the society so that they can be able to understand the benefits and also the uptake of these very important programs. Now, just the other day, I happened to be in Bogota. It was an induction of the World Chamber Federation and the International Chamber of Commerce, where 20 of us from various countries globally were actually elected as the council members and were there for induction. And during our conversation, honestly, everybody spoke about innovation and embracing digital platforms. And therefore, today, for me, I'm very excited to be here to discuss accelerating youth and MSMEs growth through technology and innovation. But I want also other things that came up is financial inclusion, because like Richard Muteti said, you could have the skills, but you don't have the product, or you could have both, but you don't have finance. You could have all, but you don't have the market. And therefore, ours is to collectively collate all the information that we do have so that we can be able to move forward, recommend to the regulators, recommend to various institutions, and also to the legislature so that they can formulate policies that will actually support businesses. Kenya has had actively promoted the growth of youth-led businesses, small and medium-sized enterprise, through various initiatives, including the establishment of digital hubs and innovation centers. It is important to create an enabling environment that supports the growth of youth-led digital business in Kenya. This will not only create jobs and economic opportunities, but also contribute to the development of a vibrant and innovative digital ecosystem. There are currently about 10 innovation hubs spread across the country, and just to name them, we have iHub, which is Nairobi's innovation hub. We have NILAB, which is Nairobi Incubation Lab. We have MLab, East Africa, which is Mobile Solution Lab. We do have Swahili Box, which is Mombasa Tech Innovation Hub. We do have Lake Hub, Kisumu's Tech Hub. We also have NILAB, which is Eldoret's Tech Incubation Hub. And the Foundry, Nairobi's Incubation Acceleration Hub. And finally, we do also have Nairobi Garage, who we all know who are shared workspace and innovation hub. And therefore, let's be very deliberate to see how we can be able to support this location so that they can also be able to interact and have information and share the right information with us. While digital hubs in Kenya have played a critical role in promoting entrepreneurship and innovation, they face various challenges that affect their effectiveness and operationalization. Challenges affecting the effectiveness of innovation hubs in Kenya, to name but a few, is limited funding. So many digital hubs in Kenya struggle with limited funding, which affects their ability to provide essential services to SMEs. This is because most of these hubs are privately owned and they rely on grants and donations to sustain their operations. For example, there are many programs as the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry in partnership with development partners. We support the micro, we support SMEs on capacity building, skills transfer, funding as well. But this is looked at a certain period. If we have a program for 1 year or 2 years, once that program ends, then you're left wondering what else you're going to tell the beneficiaries. And therefore, there is a need to continuously see how we can be able to support the MSMEs so that they can be able to graduate to the next level and probably get finances or even skills from higher platforms as well. The second one is lack of collaboration. There is a lack of collaboration between digital hubs in Kenya, which limits the ability to share resources and knowledge. This has resulted in duplication of efforts and resources, leading to inefficiencies in the ecosystem. And again, very important, even for the government, for the private sector, to have collaborations, to have conversations, to understand what each other partner is doing. Many a times you will find people actually sharing one building, whether it is at one department, but no one knows what the other is actually doing. And therefore, you find a lot of duplication and wastage of resources. Inadequate infrastructure. This is access to reliable and affordable internet connectivity, electricity, and other essential infrastructure, which is a significant challenge in Kenya. This limits the effectiveness of digital hubs in delivering their services to the businesses. There is also limited capacity, where digital hubs in Kenya face challenge to limited capacity in terms of human resource, expertise, and skills. This affects the ability to provide effective support to SMEs, especially in areas such as mentorship, training, and networking. Limited reach as well. That is another challenge. While digital hubs have established in major cities in Kenya, SMEs in rural areas may not have access to these facilities, limiting their reach and impact. And I believe this is why we have such expos led by Nation Media Group, so that we can continue sensitizing, mobilizing, and making sure that everyone in Kenya, the 54 million population, gets timely information that will be able to help them. We need to increase youth and MSMEs growth through technology. Now, just earlier on this year, we happened to be led by His Excellency the President to Korea to look for opportunities. Of course, it was a bilateral engagement, but we as a private sector were very keen to see what kind of technology we are going to get in Korea, what kind of innovations they have, and how they can be able to partner with businesses here in the country. I'm happy to hear one of the startups who actually demonstrated that from being a startup to a renowned exporter because of innovation and because of technology. And I believe this is why we want to adapt e-commerce and digital economy. I know we as the chamber, during the 3rd edition, we recommended that the government should have an SME ministry, and I want to congratulate the government of today, because that has happened. And many a times, and even today, we are going to take note of the discussions of today and tomorrow, and therefore with that we shall be able then to sit and recommend, give the asks, recommend, and give solutions to our partners. To increase youth and MSME growth through technology and innovation in Kenya, the following actions can be taken. 1, supporting the existing digital hubs through subsidies, and this is funding especially those in providing entrepreneurship and skill development in business digitization. Develop and finance framework through the National Treasury. There is need to develop a framework for supporting the innovation hubs through the National Treasury, especially through subsidies and private public partnerships as well. The third one is linking the innovation hubs training to critical value chains in Kenya. The hubs should focus technical expertise that can be adapted in sectors such as exports, tourism, healthcare, and agriculture. Innovation hubs and digitalization have the potential to transform critical value chains in Kenya, driving productivity, efficiency, and competitiveness by creating market linkages and supply efficiencies that can help to unlock the full potential of these sectors, driving economic growth and development in the country. The fourth one is to enhance access to finance. Youth and MSMEs face challenges accessing finance, which is critical for innovation and technology adoption. The government and the private sector should work together to develop innovative financing mechanisms and tailored to the needs of these groups. We as KNCCI during COVID, we actually took the initiative in engaging development partners. One of the partners was able to partner with us on programs. The bank had predicted about 75% of businesses will collapse. Actually, I can tell you that the chamber, through the initiative and through the partnership with the development partners, were able to support 17,000 members with loans, affordable loans. They were able to do their business for 1 year and return the money. And these are the innovations that we are looking for on how we can be able to support you to continue with that location. Collaboration and partnerships. We need to collaborate and partner, which is very essential for innovation and technology adoption. The government and private sector should encourage collaboration among the businesses, MSMEs, academic institutions, and research organizations to create innovation solutions that solve local problems. Like I said when I was in Korea, some of the innovations we are looking at, and looking at the health sector, is how do we support mentally disturbed patients or mentally disturbed people within our society. Sometimes you can have mental disorder, you're not aware of it, and therefore there is need to see what innovation can we get without necessarily taking the medicines. And so Korea has one of the best innovations in such, and this is through the EEG to map brain stimulation and through the neuro rehabilitation as well. You can imagine figuring out what the problem of a patient is, how you figure out how you're going to treat it, and within 2 months, your patient is fine, and that problem disappears completely. And so those are the kind of innovations that we are importing, but in partnership through the PP, that is a private partnerships. Embrace digital transformation as well. The government and private sector should embrace digital transformation and invest in digital infrastructure. This includes building high-speed internet networks, developing e-commerce platforms, and providing digital training to MSMEs. So again, as the Chamber on digital training, KNCCI has provided digital training on SMEs. In fact, the ICC, this is the International Chamber of Commerce Center for Entrepreneurship that has been put here in Nairobi, is a project of International Chamber of Commerce. That is an organization that is global and aims to support the growth and development of entrepreneurs in Africa, about 750,000. Here in Kenya, we have a target of 100,000 MSMEs in Kenya. We will support them to understand the digital platform. We will support them to access finance so that they can be able to continue with sustainable business. Partnerships, again, we collaborated with Google to provide free online tools and training to SMEs, including website development on online marketing. This is in progress, but of course, with the Trademark East Africa, where we have a digital platform to be able to support you in doing business, to support you in providing you with certificates of origin, to support you in making sure that you get timely information and applications that you make which are online from wherever you are. In terms of digital platforms, we as KNCCI, we have created a digital platform to connect SMEs in the customs, supplies, and other stakeholders as well. It is important on digital submissions of tenders, how we can have across the country, the mutual tendering process, which is not digital. If it can be digital, this actually today, and you'll agree with me, it becomes very expensive. If you want to tender and to participate with the county of, say, Kisumu or Mombasa or Moyale, Marsabit, it becomes very expensive because you have to take your tendering documents, hard copies to that place. You can imagine how many tenders you participate in a day or in a week. It becomes very expensive. If this is done online, then it mitigates that problem. We want to look at Kenya Revenue Authority, again, on tax compliance and penalties dispute resolution center. How can the Kenya Revenue Authority be able to put centers across every, centers within Nairobi so that people can be able to reach out to them? Today it becomes very difficult because if there is any dispute, if there is any penalties and you want to reach out to them, you have to walk to the headquarters. If they can be able to do that, we can also give them, as the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a platform or a desk where they can be able to come so that our members can easily be able to reach out to them. And this can be done across the 47 counties where we have offices in this country. It's good, as I conclude, to say that once again, thank you very much, Nation Media Group, for this support you have accorded the SMEs, the businesses, and the continuous effort and support to partner with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And we shall continue working with you, we shall continue working with you, and we shall continue sensitizing members of the business community, MSMEs, particularly the micro that you're there to support them, to give them any timely information that they require. Thank you very much for the partnership you have had with the private sector, the development partners as well, and the government. I'm very happy that tomorrow we shall be joined by the ministries of industry, investments and industry, trade and industry, and also cooperatives and SMEs. Both the CSAs will be here, and probably the Nation Media Group may as well surprise us, I'm not sure. So this is to invite you all again, if you would like to come here tomorrow, listen to the leadership of the countries and especially the sectors, and because they will be here, we can have questions to ask them. If you have any challenges you're facing, it will be the platform to ask and also to recommend. So with those few remarks, I now officially open the MSME Expo 4th edition themed acceleration of MSMEs for growth in innovation and digital space. Thank you very much for listening to me. So I believe after this, then we can be able to interact. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Bonangate, for that. And let's appreciate all the speakers who've been on stage with another round of applause. There's a lot to learn already from what has been said. There's a lot of context that has been set. And we are going to be getting into our first panel discussion this morning to further get into the conversations about SMEs and what's happening, and in regards to the issues around the SME space, as has been said, so we can not only just speak about the challenges, but now also chart the way forward in regards to solutions. And so I will now be calling on stage my first panel. First, I would like to call on stage Mr. Pravin Izawa from the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry to come and join me on stage. I will also invite Engineer Mike Mutungi, the Chief Executive Officer of I Choose Life Africa, and then Mr. Mukesh Khanna, the Head of Strategy and Special Initiatives at Tally Solutions. All right, I'm advised the gentleman will be joining us later on. And last but definitely not least, I would like to invite Mr. Mutembei Kariuki, who is the co-founder and CEO of Fastaga Inc. And the good gentleman was my classmate in high school, just for the record. Yes, so you could switch on your mics, and I see guidance. Should they move closer? Okay, you could just hop a seat on. Yes. All right, it's fine. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. And because at a point we'll also be having some of the input of our audience, I would just like to begin by asking each of the panelists to just introduce yourselves and what your organization does, so that we can have the context of as we have the conversation.
Thank you, moderator. My name is Pravin Izawa. I represent the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, responsible for digital economy and innovation. Thank you.
Good morning, viewers. You know, always do that at every forum when there is no media. So today is so exciting to do that in the presence of the media. So today is real, isn't it? So my name is Mike Mutungi. I'm the CEO of I Choose Life Africa. I Choose Life Africa is a youth-led, focused NGO. We basically are known for empowering 1 million youth every 4 years. And our areas of focus are health, education, economic empowerment, leadership, and governance. And we work in high school, universities, and youth out of school, age 10 to 30 actually now.
Thank you.
It's working now. So thank you, Dan. I won't say how many years ago we were in high school, but
not necessary.
Not necessary. So my name is Mutembei Kariuki. the co-founder and CEO of a startup called Fastaga. What we're doing is we're using artificial intelligence to help businesses to scale. And how we're doing that is particularly by using data and analytics and helping them have customer insights and engagement. And we are particularly focused on the millions of MSMEs that are on social commerce. And particularly I was very interested in Doreen Bayer's business, and so I'll be reaching out to talk to her later on. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And let's begin with the chamber. And we're speaking about adopting technology and innovation so as to accelerate growth of SMEs. And coming from a very challenging situation, when you talk about the pandemic, when it was in the heart of it, it did open opportunities for some businesses, but for others it was a huge hit. From where you sit, are we seeing enough businesses taking up technology as they should, or is there still a lot more to be done?
Thank you very much, Dan. I think the first thing that I want to bring upon is technology and innovation. I mean, let's start about technology. The evolution of technology, we have to date back to 1972. So technology itself has evolved, and right now it's around 51 years. So it has attained middle age. So it is important that adoption of technology is critical. Now, coming back to your question, I mean, all my previous speakers have spoken in length about contribution to GDP. Some say, which press you read, anywhere between 24 to 40%, 90% of private sector in the same field, 93% of the workforce coming from the MSME sector. I would give an example of a very recent survey that was conducted in Europe. And this was with regards to the usage of technology, and it is no different than what it is in Kenya as well. You would be surprised, the larger organization has already adopted. The smaller organization which is impacted is the one between 1 to 49 employees. You would be surprised, countries like Greece, Poland, Portugal, and also Turkey, only 40% of their MSMEs have adopted computers or linked to internet. Whereas other countries, developed countries, like when you talk about Denmark or you talk about Sweden or Finland, it is 80%. Now, coming back to Africa, it's also the same. Yes, there has been a lot of initiatives that has been done, that has been progressing pre-COVID, post-COVID as well. COVID actually was a nice yardstick for people to understand the importance of technology, and it has been embraced. But as the various speakers have spoken, yes, there is still challenges. So I would see this around only 40% of entire Africa into e-commerce or digital economy. There's a huge space that has been left vacant. The other problem that we have with technology, and this is my personal opinion, is we have Nairobi syndrome. So technology is adopted primarily in areas like Nairobi, but when it goes to the other regions, when you talk about, Busia or the other side, it becomes a challenge. Now, we talk about interventions from the government, but I'm very happy about this administration coming up the free Wi-Fi system. And also, again, one of the speakers said, trickle-down effect can only happen from the government. And I'm also was very happy when His Excellency the President spoke about digitalization of all the government services by the end of this year. This is critical because MSMEs are scared of adopting to technology or use of technology. That fear has to be removed. And as one of the very respected speaker has said, unless it starts from the top, adoption becomes difficult. Again, there are speakers who spoke about capacity building, infrastructure. In fact, there's a lot of capacity building that has been happening in this country. The problem is the execution part is where the challenge is. So to come to your question, unfortunately, there's a huge lag. Probably only 30 to 40% has adopted, and the others are actually lagging, and also lagging the opportunity that this wonderful technology evolution has given to mankind.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that. And I want to bring in Mr. Mutungi. You said you work with a lot of the young people especially and the likes, and one of the challenges that many SMEs are facing, and it has been one that's been there for long, is about training, just for the literacy of how to manage. When I begin a business, I have a great idea, but I don't know how to keep my books. I don't know how to manage many things. Do you feel that enough is being done to try and address that issue, because it's been a long-standing one?
Yeah, Dan, you've asked a question which is like the elephant in the room. But I'm also the coordinator for the MSME development group, because what we notice is that the MSMEs in the country are quite uncoordinated. So we came up with a group that's coordinating, developing a master plan for coordinating MSMEs. And I will just pull back a little bit and share a bit of the data. Muteti was very good at articulating that. Let's say, we know generally, give and take, there are about 10 million MSMEs. We also know that 65% of them die within the first 2 years. So that's a very high mortality rate. So they are being created, but they're dying at a very high rate. Yet, we know that this country, just from what he has shared, they contribute 3.4 trillion shillings to the economy. Out of the 18 million jobs, they contribute 50 million jobs. So really, if anybody here wants to give their life to something that will change this country, MSMEs is it. And yet, the mortality rate is so high. So the question is, how do you address that? So assuming that every year we have a death of 1 million, maybe the question I'll ask is that we've got NMG, thank you so much, CEO, for organizing this. You've got Kenya Chamber of Commerce. But when we have this forum next year, will we be able to talk and be able to say we have saved 1 million MSMEs? And how will we be able to do that? Now, the thing to approach this is an ecosystem approach, because you can't really focus on one thing and assume that you will solve everything. So we have the 6 domain approach for ecosystem approach, where we look at the policy, we look at the finance, culture, support, markets, and human capital. What you've just asked really relates a lot to the human capital, the skills that you need to be able to digitize and be able to make your operations effective. But you see, a lot of it is also driven, let's say begin, just mention policy and how it impacts the skills. So what I see is, we've had a lot, for example, companies are not being paid by the government. I mean, that's a major issue. If only the government can pay on time. Even today, just in the morning, I was just here, some company was saying, oh, the government owes me 50 million shillings. If the government can just begin paying on time, we'll not even have the financial challenges that we have. What we're doing as I Choose Life is to begin building those skills early, from high school to university, because what you find is that our education system is quite theoretical. If we can all begin helping develop those skills much earlier, so that by the time they are being implemented in an enterprise, then the person running the enterprise sees the need to digitize, because the solutions are there. But oftentimes the skills are not, what is needed to be able to digitize your operations and be able them to make more efficient and be able to generate more income.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And as we speak about technology, innovation, this technology thing, right now there's something that's pretty popular. Has anyone heard about ChatGPT? Anybody who's heard about it? All right, and it's scaring some people. And before I pose the question to Mutembe, I think we've talked about the training aspect. We also need to have someone to talk to us, tell us about the money. So I'd like to call onto stage Phyllis Maitha, who is the Marketing, Sales and Research Manager at Stima Sacco. Then she would just join us on the panel as we proceed. or yes, or the representative from Stima Sacco who will come and just guide us on where is the money. And so as it comes, Mutembe, you're quite big on artificial intelligence, AI. What is this monster that some of us don't understand, that we are being told is disrupting an already disrupted space? And how then does it, how relevant is it to the small businesses, or is it just a challenge for the big boys and girls?
Thank you, Dan. And I wouldn't call it a monster. I would say that probably AI is probably one of the most influential and helpful technologies that humanity has ever developed that will push our growth going forward. And as a startup, Fastager, we really asked ourselves, how do you build a trillion-dollar company? And so in this case, you look at the companies in the US, you look at Amazon, for example, and even when they were a small SME, starting up, the one thing that they decided to harness as much is intelligence and data and understanding their customers. But because they're a trillion-dollar company, they are paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars a month as data scientists and as AI engineers to help them to understand their customer and to push their product to increase their sales. But now we thought that is at a really large scale. But how do you bring that technology, bring it down to what can work for an MSME? And so we decided to build a platform that can help small and medium enterprises understand their customers, understand their data so that they can grow and they can pay for it in very small chunks and understand their businesses so that they can grow. So we're giving them the same expertise that a trillion-dollar company has so that they can continue growing. And who knows, maybe we'll have trillion-dollar companies coming out of Kenya. So yesterday, another version of ChatGPT came out. And right now, if you want to build a website, all you have to do is to draw it on a napkin, take a picture, ChatGPT will come up with the website for you. And this is how powerful the tools that are out there are going to be. Now, there's still a gap for the African continent. It was mentioned that, for example, Kenya, we have 10 million businesses. Across the continent, we have 100 million plus, SMEs on the continent. Now, we know that 90% of people who are employed globally are in SMEs. So if you're going to spur development anywhere in the world, you have to focus on these companies. Right? And so for us, we're thinking, how do you bring these technologies that are out there that probably need people who are, now there's a new term called prompt engineer, those are going to be the new careers in the future of how do you ask AI to give you the right answer. How do you bring that for a small business that doesn't necessarily have the budget to hire these people? And so this is where we came in and said, why don't we build a platform where we can engage with small businesses, give them that expertise, and help them with their businesses. So in my sense, I wouldn't say that AI is a monster, but it's the best co-pilot that has ever been developed to help people. Whether you're a student, whether you're going to be a news editor, whether you're going to be a news presenter, whether you're going to be a CEO of a company, and whether you're going to be a small business. AI is going to help us become better as human beings.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm sure there's a lot more that we'd want to, pick up on the dynamics of AI and the likes, and we'll come back to that in a bit, especially when we talk about guys like Mr. Muteti's people who are making the boxes we went to high school with. Is it relevant to them?
Yes, actually, I just want to mention that we have a very good partner in Ajira that is part of KEPSA, the Kenya Private Sector Association, and they've been with us since the beginning. I also had Mr. Ngatia talking about going to South Korea, and we had actually also been doing projects for South Korean companies in data labeling for their AI projects. And this is part of the process we were going with Ajira and KEPSA, and built ourselves up to where we are right now, building an actual AI product for the Kenyan market. And, KEPSA also put us in front of the Juakali Association in Kenya, and we had meetings with them and started engaging with those small businesses which are selling, on platforms. And as a business as small as that one who is selling on TikTok or Instagram, those are the businesses that we're seeking to work with. So I think AI is actually impacting every one of these sectors. And even for the boxes, right? You can take your design and put it up online or using an AI and ask it, to help you design it more efficiently. The brochures that I've developed that I'm distributing at this event, because I'm very conscious about Kenya and data protection, I knew I had to have an image that is not of a living person. So I asked AI to create for me an image that I used for the brochures. So that is how helpful AI is, even for a small business, for my brochures for this particular event.
Right. Thank you very much for that. And I'd just like to invite the gentleman from Stima Sacco. Yes, you just introduce yourself for the benefit of everyone here, and just one of the So one of the concerns that comes up again, money, and I want to have a small business. I may not have as much collateral, or I may not have as much that I can use as security or otherwise. How can I still get money without having to sell a few organs?
Well, thank you so much, Dan. And my name is Charles Mbugwa. I'm the Strategic Business Unit Head, Nairobi region. And allow me to just say that Stima Sacco is a 54 billion asset size Sacco with and a home to 178,000 members. And so the concern around money is it's a good topic. It's a good topic to have a conversation along. But allow me to just build up, because again, money without discipline is also one of the challenges that we have in our Kenyan MSMEs. So to back up financing, what we've done as a society, and this is what we call impact financing, that we try and ensure that any forms of credit that you will get from the society are productive. It's productive credit. But then again, you have to start from somewhere. I'm very happy about the CEO I Choose Africa, when they say that they've started educating and training the youth right from an early stage, because that is very key. So the challenge we're having now is that we've now taken it at a later stage, trying to educate and train our MSMEs into financial prudence. And you see, it might be late on, and like the saying, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. This still ails the industry. So what we've done is that we are very deliberate from the trainings. We are always available, be it from the group model, because most MSMEs, they do not have, the governance structures are very weak. There has to be some form of, again, succession planning in the kind of business that they do. So what we've done is that we've encouraged them to join our forums every time, be it through webinars, be it through on-the-ground, on-site training, so that then we can be able to ensure that they have a firm foundation around how they can be able to make budgets, be able to prepare a very slight income and expense statements. And with that, then they can be able to be informed more about how they can tap into the credit access. So when we get into credit, this is how we do it. We have MSMEs who are grouped as individuals. And I like the statistic that when we say 90% of the workforce that is available in the world globally, 90% of it is the MSMEs. They provide the greatest workforce. Again, during the first year, 7 out of 10 businesses collapse. That's around 70%. And 65 to around 68% die on the second year. Why? Number one is the skills. And to fill in that void around the skills, we educate our members. The biggest other issue is around on financial capital. So most of them are not able to raise capital. We could have a very brilliant idea around how we could be able to impact the lives and livelihoods of our people. But then again, you lack in terms of capital. So this is how where we come in. Individuals are able to access, and not just credit. And this I have to stay with a lot of authority. Because again, there are other financial institutions that would prey on their customers. You will find interest rates as high as 20%. That does not go into building these MSMEs. You must be able to be first considerate after you've inducted them. Be considerate in as far as the interest rates are concerned. Give them interest that they can be able to pay. Because at the end of the day, that becomes part of the expenditure that they will have, business expenditure, administrative expenditures that they have. And of course, we all understand that doing business in Kenya is quite costly. They invest so much into putting up businesses and ensuring that they are stable. So beyond dealing with our members as individuals, we've also, depending on the capacity and the skills transfer, we've also amalgamated them into groups. So what this does is that we can be able to put people together, like say 5 youths, put them together and then form groups, because it is easy then to address the credit gap from a point of a group logistics. So I know there are a lot we will have to discuss, but those are the 2 interventions we've decided deliberately to take on head on, so that we can be able to impact the lives and livelihoods of our people.
Thank you very much, Charles, for that. I'd like to welcome also Mr. Mukesh Khanna, who's the head of strategy and special initiatives at Tally Solutions. And Mr. Khanna, what do SMEs need to do to efficiently adopt technology? Because you may see Business X took up this technology and it's working for them. So even I will just copy paste. And what are the considerations so that I don't end up wasting my resources in technology that may not work for me?
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. So my name is Mukesh Khanna. I am based in Bangalore. Sorry for being a little late to arrive here. I work in the strategy department, and as markets, I am heading North America and Eastern Africa. So to the question, I think the biggest answer an entrepreneur can give, if they just start considering on the objective of their time and their business first. So it can be answered very straightforwardly by saying that, you know, you can invest technology in automation of customer engagement or production or purchase or sales or stuff like that. But the thing that we have to remember as entrepreneurs is that we are living in an environment of very high interdependency. Everything is literally connected to everything, right? And therefore, investing in automation in one area will not provide that kind of output or result that we are expecting. That's one. Secondly, specifically in the African markets and also in India sometimes, I observe that the intent of automation comes from external sources, right? And comes from things like obligatory requirements for compliance, or which are, or for example, the obligation to have books of accounts in a proper way. That should be challenged and that should be questioned. Is the intent of automation coming from within, or is it an externally forced topic on me? Sorry, I'm going a little deeper into the question, but that's very much important and relevant, I think. So, as an entrepreneur, I have been an entrepreneur around, right, for almost 20 years of my life. The first thing that I would like to share is, I have always kept asking myself that what's the value I am bringing, right? And how am I investing my time in the course of operating my business? Because if I am efficient, my business will be efficient. Now, that question throws me a couple of ideas in areas where I see myself struggling and not being able to become efficient, right? And I've always suggested and practiced to automate that area first. Suppose I am too much occupied in compliance related stuff, I would like to automate that. If I'm too much occupied in purchase related processes, I would like to automate as much as possible. If I feel that I am too much engaged with customers and my personal time is going there, I'm not able to give other time to the other areas of the business, I would like to automate. If there is a choice of, you know, sequencing these investments. As I said, they are very interconnected. Therefore, if the budgets and opportunity allows to automate stuff in a connected environment, that's so far so good. But if you need to prioritize certain things, please, my suggestion is prioritize it basis that you become much and much more freely available to the business to handle other areas. So, and then example, as I said, like if you feel that sales is taking too much of time, please automate that. And customer engagement is anyways the most important thing that we keep talking about. But yes, of course, purchase is equally important. Finances are equally important, right? So they're all at the same level. So having the right kind of, you know, you can say to start with, at the stage of your business, you can decide whether you would like to start implementing what kind of ERP at that stage, or, you know, would you like to invest in banking automation areas? Would you like to invest in marketing and customer engagement areas? So things are all available there.
Thank you very much. And before I allow the gentleman to speak one more time, I'd like to invite the testimonials of actual business owners, not that you guys are not, in terms of the SMEs here. And I'm going to invite to my right here, Maureen Amakabane, who is the founder and head of partnerships at Nyayo Mums Sokos. Samuel Githuku, the manager of Green Beans Department at Star Team Coffee Trading, as well as Judith Jebet, I should say, who's a director at Soin Honey, to just come and take the seats here, and we can hand them a microphone so that they can just tell us what your experience has been with adopting technology in running your business. And even as they get the mics, maybe we could just have one more response here. Again from the chamber, because you deal with a lot of SMEs. Do you feel that as we talk about technology, they are well empowered in terms of understanding things like the laws, the internet laws, because they're going to be using a lot of things online? Mutembeya said he got an AI to create a face for him. Do you feel that we have empowered the SMEs to have enough information on the legal aspect of technology?
Thank you very much, Dan. To answer that question, unfortunately, no. I think even our technology laws are predominantly at a nascent stage or a infant stage. I think in 2019 we came up with this digital blueprint, and then we are still working on the e-commerce part as well. So until and unless everything has been, policy has been put place in a proper way, trickle down will still not happen rather. So to answer that question, unfortunately, no. Most of them are not well versed. In fact, one of the major challenge for SMEs or MSMEs would be mostly the data protection. Though we do have the data protection law in place to a large extent, but trickling down how my information have been saved has not happened. So yes, there's a lot of loopholes, lot of gap, lot of capacity building to be done around the same to ensure that everyone is up to speed as far as the laws are concerned.
All right, thank you very much. And I think we'll begin with Maureen. Maureen Amakabane, she's the founder and head of partnerships at Nyayo Mums Sokos. So you could just briefly tell us what you guys do and how your experience has been with use of technology or adopting technology and innovating.
So my name is Maureen Amakabane, and I am the founder of Nyayo Mums Sokos Limited, which is a digital marketplace, information and knowledge hub for women. So what do? We run a daily marketplace where we connect small micro MSMEs that are women-led to markets, and we do this through technology. So how has technology supported our business? So I think I'll start from there. So like we run a daily marketplace, and we are on the path, I think, to become one of the largest markets that really intentionally connects small businesses to markets. So we did a very amazing model, which is a B2C model. I live in your estate. We all know that it's the largest middle-class gated community, and we've been able to put women in a platform and they sell every day. This is their wares, and the community is growing. We are now moving that to corporates. So we are going to corporates and telling corporates we can actually buy from us. And then, of course, most important, pay them. And then I like to also emphasize the importance of technology in maybe how it has catapulted me, for example, in accessing capital. The first business grant that I got was through an opportunity that I saw online. I applied, I was taught on a digital platform, and I received money from a Nigerian philanthropist. And that's a tip. So everybody who's sitting here today, the Tony Limelu Foundation every year opens up a portal for businesses like ours. You know, how do I access capital? So go to the www.TEF Connect. The applications are still open up to the 31st. So that will give you an opportunity for you to learn business skills, mostly what we don't have, and at the tail end of it, you'll pitch your business and access capital, which is a very critical bit. And then how do I use technology as well? I use it to learn, and I also still use technology to, I sell my skill set. You know, for a long time, people always think employment is going to the office, getting into a matatu and going to the office. So even as a professional, as I do my entrepreneurship on a day-to-day basis, what do I do with my professional skill set? I'm able to package my expertise as a marketer and sell it on the digital platform. So I have customers as far as Europe, as far as America, who come and experience my marketing services. For example, if they want to set up in Kenya. So technology can be used to really, it's adaptable, it's efficient, and also in receiving payments. That's also a critical bit.
All right, thank you very much. Next I'll have Samuel. Just share the same, yeah.
Oh, my name is Samuel. Samuel from Starting Group. What we do under Starting Coffee, we do the processing of coffee. The different types of coffee. We have premium coffee, we have blended coffee also. So what technology have helped us greatly is we do exports also. So for our clients in the US market specifically, we have like a cupping app, Testify, where clients, we can share our cupping notes for the different coffee that we are doing. We are roasting here in Syokimau. We can share that cupping details with them, and they get to see the cupping notes of the different types of coffee for us. We have in the local market, we have also introduced a brand called Jambi Coffee, so where we sell the processed coffee, premium branded also. And the technology has helped us greatly in marketing and finding new clients in the local market also and internationally.
All right, thank you very much. And yes, you can appreciate him. And now we'll have Judith Jebet, who is the director at Soin Honey.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chebet Kiprotich. I'm the CEO and founder of Soin Honey. My business started like in 2019, just before COVID. And the reason why I started this business is because of the community that I come from. It's basically 65% an ASAL area. And majority of the people living in Baringo, Laikipia, Samburu, are people who cannot access, for example, they are not advantaged like somebody who is in an island area. So the possibilities of making income are a bit minimal, apart from rearing mbuzi. There's only beekeeping and maybe leather. So what I can say about the digital platform, how it has helped me because I don't have a presence, is because that the digital platform through Facebook, Sana, has been my main source of networks, customer base, and the word of mouth. Because what has really helped me is that when I give you Soin Honey today, definitely you'll come back. Why? Because my product is quality. We don't blend our products. I'm not a scientist. So today when I saw you talking about your product, you need definitely wax. I don't know how to mix wax, but I can sell you the raw material. So already I have a client here. So what happens is that the beauty of Baringo products or ASAL area honey is that we thrive in different flavors, originality. Our vegetation is purely herbal. And that is why when today you walk up to our stand outside there, you will see why the colors are different. Today you'll take that honey, you'll post it online. I saw this honey at Nation Media Group. Definitely, I'll get a referral from you. So the digital marketing I can say is that to young people, don't fear to post. I've done it. Even today I've done it. And I'm getting clients. Somebody's doing a delivery outside there. That tells you when you go out there believing in your passion and using the innovation, because also in value addition, somebody will say, yes, you know what you're doing, you believe in your product. Don't just sell in a mkebe. My honey is bottled, it's in a glass jar. That's your sweets class. So if you do not take it a notch higher, and the internet is there, nobody will look for you. We have different innovation platforms, technological platforms, cheap platforms. Just put a cent there, and that's how technology will help your product. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate them all for that. It's always great to hear the first-person experiences. And I'm curious, Bwana Mutungi, when we hear, a number of times we hear about innovation, many assume it's only technology. We're told we need to innovate, and the first thing that comes to many people's minds is a technology dynamic. Maybe you could demystify that for us, such that we know what innovation encompasses.
Yes, let me try and do that. So innovation is obviously, I mean, it could be technological, but innovation is a solution that just makes you more efficient in terms of whether it's productivity, wealth creation, profitability, and so forth. Now, to be innovative and to use technology and to, all this, the purpose of doing that is to create enterprise, isn't it? Now, let me ask a question here for the participants who are here. How many of you, whether in high school or university, somebody taught you about entrepreneurship? If you did a course that teaches you how to make money, put up your hand. Okay? Most of us, I'm an engineer by profession, and in all my time in university, all the lecturers, nobody ever mentioned money. Then I came out of the university, then I realized money is the most important thing. That's what I should have been learning in the university all along. Yesterday I was meeting some Nairobi University students and asked them the same question and said, they thought and they said, actually, nobody has ever taught us about money. So I think there are many challenges we have raised here, but I would, I would like to push back again and just say, I really admire these enterprises that have done, but a lot of skills that they have, I can guarantee you, most likely they never learned in school. Those have been skills that are learned not in an organized manner, but by try and error. What I think as a country we need to do is that we need to push all this innovation, technology, and enterprise development right and center of our education system. So that when you are starting from grade 1 all the way to high school to university, enterprise at the center of the focus, and therefore, then you are figuring out how innovation and technology is done. I'll just tell you what we are doing because, some of us have been part of the Kenya Science Fair. This year it's going to be in Kisumu.